Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and now here I am to conclude these ECW pay-per-view reviews. Yeah, and here I am to conclude with the second and last ECW One Night Stand event, ECW One Night Stand 2006. Yeah. When this event took place, there were like a lot of people that were like kind of upset that the WWE like had another ECW One Night Stand event because this really did like kind of just really defeat the purpose of the first One Night Stand event because I mean it was in the name One Night Stand. How is it really like a one night stand when you're doing it again? So this really did just really defeat the purpose of the first ECW One Night Stand show. Yeah. So it really did like kind of like make the name very useless, and yeah, the name for this one, calling it One Night Stand again, really didn't make sense. Yeah. So people really like were like upset about that. Yeah, and plus this event also this was different from the first One Night Stand event because while the One Night Stand 2005, that show was like actually did feel like a true like original ECW reunion show. Yeah, this one was different because this wasn't like another one of those shows. Like this time, this One Night Stand event, this was really just like the start of when the WWE actually did it revive ECW. So this was really just like the start of like the revival of ECW as a third WWE brand with Raw and SmackDown. So this event really just basically kicked that off. Yeah, so this was really just the start of that. Yeah. Yeah. Plus, yeah, this event also like rather than it really being like an ECW reunion show, this event really was more like the WWE versus ECW event because yeah, that this match really like did like feature like just it was really like a WWE versus ECW style event because yeah, there were a lot of matches between like guys from either Raw or SmackDown against guys from ECW. So this really was kind of like just this really was like a WWE versus ECW style pay per view rather than it being like another ECW reunion show. So this event definitely like was like a very different than ECW One Night Stand 2005. Yeah, but yeah, with that being said, this was still once again a really great pay per view. Like yeah, this event really was like really great. In a sense, this event is actually better than ECW One Night Stand 2005 because yeah, with One Night Stand 2005, while uh while that show really was like a really great, like I said, and it really did have some really good matches on the show. Yeah, like the event really was like more set around like nostalgia. Like the event really really did like was really more about nostalgia than anything else. Yeah, but with this show, this really did feel like the more complete pay per view because yeah, like because yeah. There were actually matches that were actually advertised for this event. All the WWE versus ECW matches on the show, they were actually made in advance to the show, and they were like advertised for the event. So this pay per view really did actually have matches that were advertised for the event. Yeah, and plus also just the matches on the show. Like the show overall did actually have better matches than 2005 did. Yeah, the a lot of the matches for when I say in 2005 they were like really good matches, but there was only like one really great match. Here the matches on the show really were like overall better than the matches at One Night Stand 2005. Yeah, and plus yeah, just like the and this show also really did just have like a better atmosphere from the ECW crowd. Like the atmosphere for the show really was like absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, this really was like a pretty great atmosphere for the show. Yeah, the crowd was just like really hot for all night. Yeah, and you could just like really see like how the crowd really was like really into the show. Like throughout the show, like they were like totally against like the WWE guys and just totally behind the ECW guys. Yeah, and it really just like really did have like a really unbelievable atmosphere from the crowd for this show. So so this show really did like have like like I said, it really just does feel like the more complete pay per view than the 2005 One Night Stand did. So the show really does. The show really is actually like a better overall pay per view than a better overall show than One Night Stand 2005. Because it just really does feel like more complete. So despite the fact that it really like was like it was dumb to really like have another one night stand event when it really wasn't one night stand. It really was just like the start of the relaunch of ECW. Yeah, this really was like more of that rather than another ECW tribute show. Yeah, it was still like a really great show, and this really was like probably the best pay per view of 2006, which really does say a lot because 2006 really was just like a very very bad year. It was like one of the worst years in WWE history. There are going to be like people that are probably going to say, "Oh, 2006 was great. 2006 was great." Like, what do you say? No, 2006 really was like a very bad year for WWE. This was really like one of the big shining stars of 2006. This was really like one of the very few awesome things about 2006. So this really was like a really great show. All right, so I just really don't know how else I can really put it. All right, so I guess I'll just start talking about the show. All right, so the show kicked off with Paul Heyman cutting a promo. And like One Night Stand 2005, like the crowd really just like there were like a ECW chants like through hands as Paul Heyman and was in the ring, and you just like had a Paul Heyman coming out saying how like the tribe of Extreme has risen again, and if this didn't happen because of him or Vince McMahon, it happened because of the fans, and then he just like pretty then just like I said, welcome to the rebirth of ECW, or he said something like that, like this is the rebirth of ECW or something, yeah. And like I said, this was like just the start of like the relaunch of ECW as a third brand, and the ECW, the new ECW brand like started like just a couple days after the show, the following Tuesday when it aired on Sci-Fi. So this was really just like the start of that. So and so and then the first match of the show, it was Tazz versus Jerry the King Lawler. Yeah, and seriously, this is really like the only thing about the show that I really did despise. Like, I mean, during Jerry Lawler's entrance, like he like walked over to Joey Styles, who was like on commentary, and slapped him. Then when he got to the ring, like when the match actually started, Joey Styles like tried to like go after Jerry Lawler, but Jerry Lawler easily like took him out. And then as he was gonna pile drive Joey Styles, then Tazz got King in a Tazz mission, and then King passed out in 30 seconds. So this match really only lasted like 30 seconds, and Tazz wins. I mean, seriously, come on. Why did you do this? Like, couldn't we have actually like gotten some in ring action between Tazz and Jerry Lawler? Like, I know that like Tazz like couldn't really like have the matches that he used to at this point because like of his injured neck or whatever. But come on, couldn't you like have had this match at least go on for like a few minutes? I really would have liked to see it done differently. Like, have the match between Tazz and Jerry Lawler, and like have a have a JR be in King's corner, and have Joey Styles in Tazz's corner, and like have the guys like have a similar match to like the ones that they had in 2000. Like maybe do something like where like maybe like they like are fighting for like a few minutes, then JR and Joey Styles end up like going at it, and then somehow then JR really gives like a cheap shot to Tazz, like after taking Joey Styles down. Then like JR helps King win the match. I really would have like preferred for like Jerry the King Lawler to actually win this match, because the WWE really didn't really win like many matches this night. I think for the entire show, like the WWE only won like one match on the show. So I mean, come on. I mean, couldn't you have had the WWE guys really win a few more matches, and this being one of them? So really did not like the very just making Jerry Lawler look so bad here and having this match only last like 30 seconds. So yeah, did not like this. But yeah, it was only like 35 seconds. So yeah, so like I said, so I can't really rate this because it was too short. But yeah, did not like how they did this. All right, yeah. Then yeah, then after Taz won, he joined Joey Styles on commentary. So yeah, so Taz and Joey Styles commentated this event. Yeah, and this was also like right after Taz left SmackDown to join ECW, and so yeah, Taz and Joey Styles were the commentary team for this new ECW. Yeah. So yeah, and then the next match, then it was uh Randy Orton versus Kurt Angle. Yeah. So yeah, so this was like when Kurt Angle joined with ECW. Yeah, when ECW relaunched here, Vince McMahon let Paul Heyman draft some gave Paul Heyman 2 draft picks, allowing him to draft somebody from Raw and someone from SmackDown to join ECW. And RVD was the Raw pick, and Kurt Angle was the SmackDown pick. So yeah, so just I really didn't understand Kurt Angle joining ECW. What sense did it really make? Especially what happened the previous year for One Night Stand when Kurt Angle was part of the anti-ECW crusade. So yeah, so really did not understand Kurt Angle joining ECW. Yeah, and plus yeah, this match this was kind of an example of how this event really did not have the same feel as the first One Night Stand event, because yeah, this was really more showing how this was really more WWE oriented than an actual ECW reunion. Yeah, but yeah, this was still overall a pretty good match between the guys. Yeah, the crowd really just was pretty hostile towards Randy Orton during this match. The crowd really had some really derogatory chants for Randy Orton. They were chanting stuff to Randy Orton "Go fuck Cena" and "Orton's a homo" and some other derogatory chants to Randy Orton. So yeah, so this is an example of how unbelievable the atmosphere or was with the crowd. Yeah, the crowd really was just was very hostile towards the WWE people in this during this event. Yeah, especially in the main event, which I'm sure a lot of you know. But yeah, I'll get to that later. Yeah, but yeah, this was overall a pretty good match between the two guys. Yeah, it did go back and forth between both guys. Yeah, like I said, crowd really was really totally against Randy Orton and behind Kurt Angle. Yeah, and of course when Kurt Angle joined ECW, this really did show another side of Kurt Angle. Despite the fact that did not understand Kurt Angle joining ECW, it really did show another side of Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle really became more of a vicious and aggressive wrestler than he was before. Yeah, so this definitely did show this was a different and type of Kurt Angle. Yeah, and this match did go back and forth. Kurt Angle delivered a whole bunch of German suplexes to Randy Orton in the match. Yeah, and then Orton was kind of being cowardly, going to the outside of the ring, and the crowd was chanting "pussy" to Randy Orton when he would get out of the ring. Yeah, and then then at one point, then Randy Orton was able to avoid an angle slam. Yeah. Yeah. Then after Kurt Angle then delivered an angle slam at one point, Randy Orton survived it. Yeah. Then when Kurt Angle got the ankle lock on Randy Orton was able to reverse it and drive Kurt Angle into a turnbuckle. Then Randy Orton delivered like his neck breaker to Kurt Angle, and then as Randy Orton then tried to make a comeback, as Kurt Angle then still fought back. Then eventually Randy as Randy Orton was trying to make a comeback and apply his rear choke Kurt Angle, the crowd was chanting "boring" to him. Yeah. Then as Randy Orton then tried to go for an RKO, Kurt Angle then countered and then went for an ankle lock. Randy Orton then tried to roll through into a pin attempt, but Kurt Angle got out of it. Then Kurt Angle then got Randy Orton in an ankle lock and grapevine his leg, and then Randy Orton tapped out. Yeah, so Kurt Angle won the match. Yeah. So this overall was a pretty good match between Kurt Angle and Randy Orton. This had the story of in kayfabe a couple of months earlier, Kurt Angle ended up quote unquote breaking Randy Orton's ankle, but it was kayfabe. So Orton was out looking for revenge on Kurt Angle for it, but did not get it here. Yeah. Then they continued on for another few weeks All Through Vengeance, where they had a rematch where Randy Orton won. So this overall was a pretty good match. I would probably give this probably like 3.5 stars. Yeah. And yeah, and then the next match, then we had the FBI, which consisted of Little Guido and Tony Mamaluke versus Super Crazy and Tajiri. And yeah, this was not one of the WWE versus ECW matches. Like, this was just a straight up ECW versus ECW match. So this was another. So this actually did kind of feel like a match that really did feel like it was like an actual ECW reunion with like ECW guys just like going at it with each other. Yeah, and this overall was a pretty good match between the two. But yeah, this kind of like is the same thing of what I was talking about with the Little Guido Super Crazy Tajiri match from the other One Night Stand event. How it was good, but it wasn't as great as like the matches they actually did have in the original ECW. And I think this comes down to the same thing that I was talking about in my review for One Night Stand 2005. How just it was it's years later, and these guys are a little bit older, and plus, yeah, and just with the different styles these guys really did have, like competing in WWE for years, with like Little Guido, of course, as Nunzio, and Tajiri being in the WWE, and yeah, and Super Crazy also like had signed with the WWE by this point as well. That's part of the Mexicools, yeah. So I think just like with the different styles these guys really did have in the WWE, it really did kind of affect the ability for them to have the same matches that they did have in ECW before. Yeah, but yeah, it was still overall a pretty good match. It was really nice to see Tajiri back here because yeah, Tajiri had actually left the WWE like the year before, or so yeah. So this was the first time seeing Tajiri since like December of the previous year. So it was nice to see Tajiri back here. And it was a pretty good match between the teams. Like I said, not great as like the matches that these guys were like did have in the original ECW, but it was still pretty good. Like it went back and forth between the teams. Like Tajiri still did look pretty good in this match despite being away for like about like 6 months at this point. Yeah, there was this one point where like both members of the FBI were like hanging upside down from the turnbuckle, and both Super Crazy and Tajiri kicked them both in the face. Yeah, and it did like a spill to the outside. Super Crazy did like a moonsault to the FBI from the ropes to the floor. Then Big Guido then got involved in the match. Yeah, Big Guido was like at ringside with the FBI. Yeah. Then there was like this cool spot where like both Tajiri and Super Crazy gave tarantulas individually to both members of the FBI at the same time. Then Big Guido then tried to get involved in the match and attack Super Crazy and Tajiri, but Super Crazy and Tajiri were able to like fight Big Guido off and take him out. Then eventually uh Little Guido and Mama Luke hit a muscle buster on Tajiri and were able to pin him. So the FBI ended up winning the match. Then after the match, then you had the Big Show then coming out. On the previous Wednesday before the show was that WWE versus ECW head-to-head special. And at that show, Big Show ended up defecting from WWE to ECW. So this was like a Big Show's first official show as part of ECW. And Big Show like came out and just took out everyone, took out the FBI, Super Crazy, and Tajiri. So a nice way to really like officially introduce Big Show to ECW by having him like just take everybody out and having him just like look like a monster. So that was kind of like a nice way to introduce Big Show to ECW. So this overall was a pretty good match, but not a great match like these guys had before. So I would probably give this about a 3.25. And then after this, then like you have like a JBL making an appearance. Like a JBL like was like up in the balcony, like just cutting a promo. A few weeks before this, like a JBL like was forced to like quit the WWE after he lost a match to Rey Mysterio on SmackDown. So JBL like was gone for a few weeks prior to this, but he then made an appearance at the show and was just like saying like how like he was just like going like talking about like how the previous One Night Stand, how he did actually like attack the Blue Medium, was just like referring to himself as the King of Hardcore. And yeah, then he said like with a Tazz leaving SmackDown to go to ECW, JBL would be taking Tazz's place on SmackDown as a color commentator with Michael Cole. So on the following SmackDown was when JBL started as a color commentator on SmackDown, and he would be color commentator for like almost 2 years on SmackDown after this. So so you had that small promo from JBL. Yeah. And then next up, after this, then we had like the first of the two big matches on the show, because on this show, you had both of the WWE's World Championships being defended at the show. So the WWE title and the World Heavyweight title being defended at the show. So this was like there was like the possibility of ECW who bringing one or both of the championships over to ECW, taking them away from WWE. So that was the threat from ECW for the show to WWE. So then next up, the next match was then for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was Rey Mysterio defending against Sabu. And Rey Mysterio was like the WWE guy that the ECW crowd was probably the least hostile towards. Like the ECW crowd really weren't that bad for Rey Mysterio. It was kind of like a mixed reaction for Rey Mysterio. Like during Rey Mysterio's entrance, like people were actually cheering, but yeah, when he actually got introduced, like the fans were not as loud for Rey Mysterio. So kind of a mixed reception for Rey Mysterio at the show. Yeah. And what I'm wondering about this, was Rey Mysterio actually wearing like an old mask for the show? Because on the back of Rey Mysterio's mask, it actually did say ECW. Yeah, and of course, like Rey Mysterio was in ECW before he actually did go to a WCW. So I don't know if Rey Mysterio was actually wearing some old attire for this match. Yeah. But yeah, this was actually like a pretty good match right here, but it wasn't a great match. Like some people do say that it was a great match and the best match on the show, but no, it was not. Probably if this match would have occurred 10 years earlier, this probably could have been a classic. But yeah, the match just kind of turned out being really good, but not great. Yeah. This was overall a pretty good match between the two, but yeah, I think maybe some of the action was a little bit sloppy between the two. Maybe just these guys really just because of their somewhat different styles, it probably just didn't really work that well to work well enough for it to really be a really a great match between the guys. Yeah, but yeah, it was still overall pretty good. Yeah, there was a lot of weapon use in the match. There was this one point where both guys had steel chairs, and they just kept whacking each other's chairs. It was the chairs just kept colliding with each other. Yeah. And Sabu did gain the upper hand on Rey Mysterio early on in the match. At one point, Sabu hit an Arabian facebuster on Rey Mysterio, and then gave Rey Mysterio the triple jump moonsault. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then Rey Mysterio then started to make a comeback to Sabu. Then at one point Sabu then threw a chair right at Rey Mysterio's head. Then at one point as Sabu had a table set up one end was on the guardrail, one end was on the corner of the ring. As Rey Mysterio was on the table, Sabu then was gonna try to splash Rey Mysterio through the table by bouncing off the top rope. But Rey Mysterio moved out of the way, but Sabu did not jump through the table. He just kind of fell over to the side. Yeah. Then at one point, as Rey Mysterio was uh, leaning over the ropes, Sabu delivered a guillotine leg drop to Rey Mysterio. Yeah. Then there was a cool spot where Sabu was standing on another table that was a position between the corner of the ring and the guardrail. And then Rey Mysterio delivered a seated senton to Sabu, putting Sabu through the table. So that was a pretty cool spot. Yeah. Then Yeah, then it just like continued to go back and forth between Rey Mysterio and Sabu. Rey Mysterio tried survived the moonsault from Sabu. Then at one point, as Rey Mysterio had Sabu on a chair, Rey Mysterio tried to jump onto Sabu on the chair, but Sabu ended up moving out of the way, and Rey Mysterio just hit the chair. Then the match then ended with you had Rey Mysterio standing on that table that Sabu set up earlier on set up between the ring and the guardrail. Then Sabu tried to go for a triple jump somersault splash to Rey Mysterio, but it ended as Rey Mysterio got to his feet, it ended up turning into a DDT with Sabu DDTing Rey Mysterio through the table down to the floor. Then both guys were out, and then as the doctor and the trainer came down to check on Rey Mysterio and Sabu, then they just called the match. The match just ended. They just stopped the match saying that both guys were unable to continue. So this match ended in a no contest. Seriously, what the fuck? Seriously, this is supposed to be an ECW show, and neither guy was even legitimately hurt after that spot. And you just end up calling the match off, saying they're not able to continue. Seriously, come on. This is supposed to be ECW. Seriously, this was just so awful. This was really another one of the flaws for this show. You're actually calling off an ECW match like this. It's this was just an embarrassing finish and just awful for ECW. Seriously, I don't know why they did this. I just don't know what they were really thinking. I don't know if they just they didn't really they still wanted Rey Mysterio to keep the title, but they didn't want Sabu to actually lose cleanly here. So they just decided to do this. Seriously, you should have really just done it. You should have just had Rey Mysterio defeat Sabu here. I mean, this kind of goes along with what I was saying earlier, how WWE really didn't get a lot of wins. They really just won one match on this show. So you should have really just had Rey Mysterio defeat Sabu here, because this was not the way to go. So the finish was really terrible for the match, but the rest of the match was overall pretty good. The awful finish really does affect it. So that's really another reason why this match really wasn't great either. So for what we did get a pretty good match. But the finish was awful. So I give that match I'll give that 3.5 stars. Yeah. And then next up, the next match, it was scheduled to be a tag team match with Mick Foley and Edge versus Tommy Dreamer and Terry Funk. But when Edge, Foley, and Lita they came out, they were just talking, they were kind of speaking out against ECW. And Lita got one of the worst receptions from the ECW crowd at the show. The crowd absolutely hated Lita. They were really chanting some really vulgar stuff to her during this match. The crowd was just really so hostile towards Lita here. But then Tommy Dreamer and Terry Funk came out with Beulah accompanying them. Then Beulah just took some shots at Lita, and then Lita then Beulah then just said that they want to make it 3-on-3. So this ended up being a 6-person tag match with Lita and Beulah joining the match. But Lita and Beulah really didn't do a whole lot in the match. So it was really mainly just between Edge and Mick Foley against Tommy Dreamer and Terry Funk. And this really was a great match. This was definitely the best match of the show. This match was just so freaking great. This was really the true ECW style match of the night. This really was very hardcore. You had a lot of weapons used in the match. You had trash cans, ladders. There's a barbed wire. There was a barbed wire board that was used in the match. And you just really did have a lot of weapons used in this match. and like I said, the crowd was really hostile towards Lita here. The crowd was chanting stuff to Lita like "You're a crack whore" and "She's got herpes" at Lita. So yeah, ECW fans really did hate Lita. Yeah, and this really was just like a really brutal match. You had Mick Foley and Terry Funk really like fighting on the outside for a good portion of the match, while Tommy Dreamer and Edge fought like in the ring. Then like I said, eventually you had like barbed wire being brought into the match, including like the board with a whole bunch of barbed wire on it. The guy, they were like driving each other into the barbed wire board. Then eventually, Mick Foley then just dropped the wooden board down onto Terry Funk. Then Lita got some more barbed wire, and then Mick Foley like wrapped barbed wire around his arm and was just beating Terry Funk with it. Then I think Terry Funk really was just like a complete bloody wreck in this match. And I think like a Foley had actually gotten the barbed wire into Terry Funk's eye. So Terry Funk was really just a very badly hurt, and so then as a result, Terry Funk actually had to be taken by the trainers to the back. So it looked like Terry Funk was really unable to continue. Yeah, and then it was just Tommy Dreamer fighting by himself against Edge and Terry Funk. Mick Foley then eventually brought Barbie into the ring. And then they were assaulting Tommy Dreamer with Barbie. Then Mick Foley then got Mr. Sacco out. Then Mick Foley then gave the mandible claw to Beulah. Then he gave the mandible claw to Tommy Dreamer. Then as they were just assaulting Tommy Dreamer, Terry Funk then eventually did return bandaged up, came through the crowd with a barbed wire wrap 2x4. Then Terry Funk then attacked Mick Foley with the barbed wire wrap 2x4. Then that barbed wire board was then placed in front of the aisleway. Then Terry Funk eventually then set the barbed wire 2x4 on fire and beat Mick Foley with it. Eventually, Mick Foley actually did catch fire, and then eventually Mick Foley then fell into the barbed wire board. But then Edge then knocked Terry Funk into the barbed wire board as well on top of Mick Foley. But Terry Funk got caught in the barbed wire as well. Then as a then Tommy Dreamer then got Edge in a crossface with barbed wire, had the barbed wire wrapped around Edge's throat, and applying the crossface. So that actually looked pretty dangerous. It looked like Edge could have likely gotten killed there if the barbed wire actually stuck into his throat. So kind of a dangerous spot there. But then Lita then made the save for Edge, and then Beulah then went after Lita, and then Beulah and Lita then went at it. But then Tommy Dreamer got a hold of Lita, then gave her the Dreamer Driver. But then Edge recovered, and then with barbed wire, pulled barbed wire back into Tommy Dreamer's eyes to deliver the Edge-O-Matic. Then Edge then delivered a spear to Beulah and pinned her in probably the best way possible. Edge had the best cover attempt ever on Beulah here. I just really do love the fact that Edge really did take advantage of the fact that this was ECW, and he really did go more vulgar here. He really did really go uncensored. This was kind of what I was talking about before in the last One Night Stand review. You just got to see how Edge really did pin Beulah in the match. It really was just the best pin attempt ever. So I'll see if I can find the pin attempt. Well, the cover on YouTube, and I'll post it in the description if I can find it. But you just got to see this because it's really the greatest pin ever. So Edge, Mick Foley, and Beulah got the win. I mean, Mick Foley, Edge, and Lita got the win. So this was really just an awesome match, and this was the ECW style match that the show had. The true ECW style match. So really just a really great match right there. So I would give that match probably 4 stars. Really just an awesome match. Yeah, and then after this, like Terry Funk, like he just like took so much abuse here. Like Terry Funk was like 61 years old at the time. Like, was he out of his mind to do stuff like this? And after this, like Terry Funk had never did compete in the WWE again. So so what a way to go out with a match like this. Yeah, then after this, then we had Balls Mahoney versus Masato Tanaka, another ECW on ECW match. Yeah. And this match really was not really anything that special. Like this match really was just like used as a buffer match between like the last match and the main event. So so this was really just kind of used as a buffer match. Yeah, match only lasted like 5 minutes. It was just like the two of them fighting for like 5 minutes. It's like they fought on the outside of the ring. Like Balls Mahoney like nailed Masato Tanaka with a few drinks. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the match really was not anything that great. I don't know if it was because Masato Tanaka was injured because he did like have his shoulder like a bandage for this match. So I don't know like what sort of injury Masato Tanaka may have suffered. I don't know if that really did affect the match, but yeah, this match was really just like a kind of just like used as a buffer match. Like I said, they were just like fighting for a few minutes. Yeah, had like another like a collision of steel chairs in the match. Then eventually Balls Mahoney then nailed Masato Tanaka right in the head with a chair, and finally Masato Tanaka went down after just one shot to the head. Yeah, and Balls Mahoney then pinned Masato Tanaka. So Balls Mahoney won the match. That match really was not anything special. So I would probably give that match like I'll give that like 2 stars. Yeah, then before the main event, then you had like a Eugene coming out making an appearance. And the crowd hated Eugene as well. Then Eugene like was just like saying how he loved ECW, like really like trying to like say how much he loved ECW, but the crowd still did hate him. And as like Eugene was like reciting a poem that he wrote about ECW, then eventually the Sandman then appeared. Like Sandman came through the crowd into the ring, and then Sandman just beat Eugene with a kendo stick. Then it just like chased Eugene to the back. So I guess this was just like a way of like getting Sandman on this show to make an appearance. But they did it at the expense of Eugene. So I really don't know what to really say about them actually like having Eugene on the show just for Sandman to make an appearance. So I don't really know what to say about that. But I guess it was kind of funny. All right. Anyway, and then we got the main event, the WWE Championship on the line. John Cena defending against Rob Van Dam. This was RVD's like title shot, like when due to RVD like winning the Money in the Bank ladder match that year at WrestleMania. This was RVD's he actually cashing in Money in the Bank for the show. So this was for a while the only time that the Money in the Bank was cashed in for a legitimate match and not like a run in after like a match. After this show, like it was only like used like it's only been used done again like once or twice ever since. So and oh man, like John Cena, John Cena really like had the worst from the crowd. Like the crowd was like on a whole new level of hostile towards or John Cena here. Like during John Cena's entrance, like the crowd absolutely hated him. And as John Cena like tried to throw like his shirt and hat into the crowd just kept throwing it back, and people were like soiling John Cena's shirt. Like one guy like kept spitting in the shirt, and another guy wiped his ass with it, and they just kept throwing the shirt back to John Cena. The crowd like just absolutely hated John Cena. John Cena has faced some hostile crowds before, like in WWE, but this was just like a whole new level of hostile. Like this was like just absolutely like 100% negative to John Cena. The crowd like just absolutely like 100% hated him here. The you know like the crowd just absolutely like hated John Cena, and he was just like everything ECW wasn't. So yeah, so the crowd really just hated John Cena, and yeah, this match was really like the ultimate example of like how unbelievable the atmosphere of the crowd was. So yeah, so the crowd and the and everything, the atmosphere really did make this match a lot better. Yeah, but yeah, this really was like a pretty great match, and yeah, and the crowd really did play a part in that. Yeah, this was a pretty great back and forth match between RVD and John Cena. Like, crowd obviously was of course like totally behind RVD in the match. Yeah, and it really did like go back and forth. John Cena like was able to like avoid some of RVD's ECW style tactics. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, and of course, and yeah, like I've been saying, like with like what how the crowd did with like Randy Orton and Lita. Yeah, the crowd really like gave like some really like a hostile chance to John Cena for this match. Like the crowd was like very loud for John Cena and insulting him. Like they were like chanting stuff like "fuck you, Cena," same old shit, overrated, you can't wrestle. So yeah, so this was just like so hostile. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, and yeah, and these guys really just like went back and forth, like they were fighting in the ring, and then it like spilled to the outside. At one point, they were fighting in the crowd, and how nobody in the crowd actually tried to go after John Cena and attack him. I will never know. Like this show must have had like some really like big security to make sure that nobody in the crowd actually did try to go after John Cena. Yeah, yeah. Then like a John Cena then like was able to like counter a lot of RVD's like moves in the match. Like at one point, uh as RVD like was on the guardrail, trying to go for like a moonsault or something. Cena pushed RVD off. Yeah, then like John Cena was continuing to assault RVD he in the match. Yeah, there was this one point where like as they were fighting in the crowd, Cena like took a "fuck you, Cena" sign from a fan, placed it in front of RVD, and then then just ended up nailing RVD. Yeah, then at one point uh RVD delivered like a guillotine leg drop to Cena as he was leaning over the guardrail. Yeah, and then Cena RVD then at one point then kicked a chair into Cena's head. Then RVD delivered a rolling thunder to John Cena with a chair on top of him. Yeah, then at one point as RVD tried to do his split-legged moonsault to John Cena with the chair on top, John Cena got the chair up and drove it right into RVD. Yeah, then Cena at one point then DDT'd RVD on a chair. Then he catapulted RVD right into a chair set up between the middle and top turnbuckle. Yeah, yeah. Then and it just continued to go back and forth. At one point, as RVD was on the turnbuckle again, John Cena was able to catch him and then just give him a huge power bomb down to the canvas. So I don't know, just something about hostile crowds for John Cena really do bring out some of his best matches. Yeah, because of course we had other matches like Money in the Bank 2011 where it was in CM Punk's hometown and the crowd was against Cena and that was a great match. And it's the same case with this match. So hostile crowds really do give Cena some really great matches. Yeah. Then eventually Cena got RVD in an STFU. And as RVD was able to get to the ropes, the referee John Finnegan had to actually pull John Cena off of RVD. Then RVD then not RVD, John Cena then got face to face with John Finnegan. And then they had an argument, and then it turned into a shoving match between them. John Cena then delivered a monstrous clothesline to John Finnegan, taking him out. Then Nick Patrick, who was a SmackDown referee, then came out to officiate the match. Then John Cena then nailed RVD with a huge shot from the steel steps. And John Cena delivered a big superplex to RVD as well. But RVD was able to survive it. Then as John Cena then FU'd RVD from inside the ring down to the floor, then all of a sudden you have somebody coming through the crowd wearing a motorcycle helmet and speared John Cena through a table, and then took out Nick Patrick. Then he took off the helmet, revealing that it was Edge who did it. Then as Edge left, RVD then recovered, and then RVD capitalized and then gave John Cena the 5-star frog splash. Then as RVD was trying to revive the referee, then Paul Heyman then ran out and then had RVD cover John Cena, and then Paul Heyman then made the 3 count. So I'm not really sure how Paul Heyman really did have the authority to officiate. But either way, he counted the 3, and then so RVD ended up winning the match, and RVD won the WWE title. So it was in controversial fashion. So I don't really think they should have really done the stuff with Edge running and everything. I really think that it would have been just fine for RVD to win this match cleanly. But either way, crowd loved RVD winning. And it was great to really see RVD finally become the WWE champion. RVD had been in the WWE for nearly 5 years now, and he did have some shots to become world champion before, but they didn't do it. But here they finally did give RVD the WWE title. So a great thing, and it was really great for them to really do it at an ECW event. So really great to see RVD win the WWE title. And as a result of RVD winning this match, RVD was also awarded the ECW Championship as well on the first episode of ECW on Sci-Fi 2 nights later. So really great to finally see RVD really get his moment, and you had RVD really celebrating. And first RVD was celebrating with his wife up in the balcony, then RVD was then celebrating in the ring with the other ECW guys. So it was really great to really see RVD really get his moment at an ECW event. So really great to see RVD finally win the WWE title. So it was great to see him finally do that. But of course, the following month, RVD wound up getting busted for drug use. So we didn't really get to see this stuff really play out for him. So it was all really just kind of flushed down the toilet for him afterwards. So it sucked that it didn't really get to play out for him. But still, him winning the title was a great moment. So really great match, and like I said, very unbelievable atmosphere from the crowd. So really great match, and so I would give that match probably 4 stars as well. So overall with the show, I guess I would give it a 9.25 out of 10. So you really did have some really good matches on the show. Like I said, RVD Cena was great. Edge, Foley, and Lita versus Tommy Dreamer, Terry Funk, and Beulah was great. And you also had some other good matches on the show, such as Kurt Angle and Randy Orton, and even Rey Mysterio versus Sabu, despite the fact that the finish sucked. So some really good matches on the show, and like I said, the matches were overall better than the matches at ECW One Night Stand 2005. So I really do think that, like I said, this really was the more complete wrestling show over ECW One Night Stand 2005. So as far as whether or not I would really recommend this show over ECW One Night Stand 2005, it really just depends what you're looking for, because 2005 really, like I said, it was really more nostalgic and really emotional, and it really did have more of the feel of the original ECW, and really did feel more of a reunion for ECW. So if you really are looking for that, then check out 2005. But if you are looking for the more complete show with better overall matches and just a very unbelievable atmosphere, then check this one out. So it really just comes down to which one you're really looking for, what you're really looking to see for which one to really recommend. But both of these One Night Stand shows really were great shows in their own ways. So check out both. But as far as which one to really recommend, it just really comes down to what you're looking to see. But both of these One Night Stand shows really were great. Alright, so I guess this is all I can really say about it. Alright, so this is my review of ECW One Night Stand 2006. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review, and I hope you guys did enjoy these ECW pay-per-view reviews for the month. So I was glad to review these shows for the month. I just did want to talk about these, since I had never talked about any ECW pay per views before or doing these reviews this month, yeah, I figured that I would do them this month, and just so I could really finally talk about them. So yeah, so I was really glad that I was able to get to do this month, and then talk about all the ECW pay per views. So so after having this channel for 11 years now and not ever talking about them, now I have, and I've gone through all of them. So I am glad that I have finally been able to talk about the ECW pay per views. Yeah, so I hope you guys did enjoy what I did have to say about these pay per views for the month. Yeah, like I said, ECW really did have a lot of ups and downs for their pay per views in their history, but yeah, they really did give us some great ones. And and these two one night stand shows are really included in that. Yeah, so was glad to talk about these ECW pay per views throughout the month. So yeah, so I hope you guys did enjoy these ECW pay per views throughout the month. And now as we head into June, I do have something also planned, kind of like for the first half of June, in honor of a big movie that is coming out in the middle of June. So yeah, so I'll talk about that later on. But I hope you guys did enjoy these ECW pay per view reviews this month. So thank you to everyone who tuned into these reviews. I hope you guys did enjoy them. And stay tuned for some more stuff that I got coming up. All right. So thanks for watching these ECW pay per view reviews for the month. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys later.